as we roll through the top of the third hour of the program. Breaking news, in a positive way, the New England Patriots have no major issues with the COVID positive tests, at least for today. So we will see what happens with the Titans, if we get any update at all on that, in the final hour of the program. For those of you who went to bed too early last night, or for those of you just waking up that want to relive it, last night it came down to a spectacular defensive play for the Dodgers in their game against the Padres. Fernando Tatis Jr., who is soon to be, I think, the best player in Major League Baseball. I think that could happen in the next couple of years. Well, he hit a drive straight away to center field. This is what it sounded like live on FS1.
Lifts his ball to deep center field. Bellinger twisting around, still going. He's at the wall. He leaps, and he made the catch. Cody Bellinger, a robbery of Tatis, keeping the Dodgers in front 4-3.
Big play as the Dodgers go on to win by 1 run. That home run would have been a 2-run shot, and it would have given the Padres the lead. Instead, Dodgers are now up 2-0 in their best-of-5 series. Also, the Atlanta Braves are up 2-0 in their best-of-5 series. So both NL series, it looks like we are heading for the Dodgers and the Braves in the NLCS, a battle between the LA studio and my 10-year-old with the Dodgers versus the Braves potentially heading down the home stretch here. So that is that story. In fun news, NFL Week 5 is back, and we've got an incredible game. I know a lot of times people enjoy piling on Thursday Night Football, but I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with the Buccaneers going on the road against the Bears. Brady versus Foles for the first time since their Super Bowl matchup. The Bucs are on fire of late. Brady, 5 touchdown passes in the win over the Chargers. And the Bears did not look very good in their game against the Colts. Maybe they went to Nick Foles too early. We have a lot to look forward to in tonight's game. I love the Bucs to get the win. The Bucs are around a 5-point favorite. I'm giving you my pick right now because Lock It In / Fox Bet Live, our daily gambling show, we are preempted today for the Atlanta Braves and the Miami Marlins game. So I'm not sure if we're going to be on Friday or not, but we don't have television this afternoon because of that. And as a result, I absolutely love the Bucs in this situation. I just think that they are going to come out and take control of the game. And you said it's down to 3.5 now, Dub?
That's what I'm seeing this morning as we speak.
Wow, that's interesting. So money is coming in on the Bears. It's not surprised that the general public, including me, would be on Tom Brady. I don't have a lot of faith. Look, the under, I can see making a play here because I don't think this Bears offense is very explosive, and I do think the Bucs will struggle to score points against this Bears defense. But the idea that the Bucs are going to lose, I just don't see it. I think the Bears are going to lose their second straight. What direction would you guys go on the game? Danny G, what's your play?
I'm a little nervous that the entire show is going to be on the same side here, and you know what that means.
Yeah.
Nick Foles did look good at the very end of Chicago's game last week. Maybe he could carry that momentum into this game, but I do not see how Brady and the Bucs are going to be stopped in this matchup tonight.
Good stuff. And by the way, Dr. David Chow just tweeted out he's going to make an exciting announcement on the show. I'm excited to see what that announcement is. But the health condition here that he breaks down, he says, the Bucs have major issues at their offensive weaponry, particularly how many healthy targets do they have for Tom Brady. Wide receivers, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin have had issues all season. Just had a torn Achilles, I think it was, from O.J. Howard at tight end. Gronkowski really hasn't made any plays at all in the passing game. I mean, he's been almost totally non-existent as a major storyline so far. So who is going to be able to step up and make plays for Tom Brady in the passing game? That's one reason I kind of like the under. Dub, which side are you on in this game?
Yeah, I'm not really sure about the side. You mentioned all the injuries, and we all know the home teams on Thursday night have been super successful the last few years, but I do like the under at 44.5. I think this could be an ugly game, maybe a 21-17 type game, 20-17, something in that nature. So I think the under might be the way I go tonight.
By the way, Dub, you love to gamble. I love to gamble. So Tennessee is soon going to have online sports gambling. Will you stick with your guy? Like, I don't even know how you place your bets now, or will you go full on legal?
I'll probably do both. I honestly don't know, because I'm worried that the legal gambling will be so juiced up that it won't even be worth it. So I'm going to have to just kind of sit and wait on the outside and see how that goes, because if it's like minus 120 or minus 130 to place these bets, then obviously I won't be placing the bets in a legal manner.
It's a good question. So my understanding is that there's going to be enough parlays that the line shouldn't be awful, because obviously if you're not aware, the biggest moneymaker for sports gambling is parlays, right? People put $50, $20, whatever it is, on a multi-game card, and the actual odds payout is not reflective of what it would be if you got truly even odds, but people would rather go for the big score typically than bet on individual games in terms of the average bettor. A lot of people love to play parlays. Eddie, what do you expect to see tonight in Thursday Night Football? Are you on Brady and the Bucs, or do you think Foles and the Bears get it done?
Well, first of all, I will, take the bullet. I don't want the Outkick jinx to strike again like it did last week.
Yes.
When we all picked the Jaguars. So I will take the Bears. I think the under is a smart play, and there are a ton of injuries offensively for Tampa Bay, and I don't see Tom Brady having another 5-touchdown game. I think Nick Foles will bounce back and have a decent game, so I'll take the Bears.
Roberto, your call.
No, I'm going with the Bucs. Nick Foles, I ain't touching that guy, man. He's terrible.
All right, so thank you for not jinxing us all in some way, Eddie, there. Now, we don't know yet whether the Titans are going to have any more positives or what the situation is going to be there. But how about the fact that my son came home and told me a week ago that the Titans were working out at his high school, or his school, he's in 7th grade, but it's a 7th through 12th grade, but that I couldn't say anything because everybody would know that he told me, and he didn't want people at his school to blame him for snitching on the Titans.
Gangster.
How unbelievable of a story is that? Like, that your dad has a show where he would, obviously that would be a big topic of conversation if the Titans had been working out at the local facility, the local high school, when they can't actually use their own facility. So he made me promise before he told me what he had done. And like all the kids at his school, he said, were just sitting out like during lunch, and they got to watch the players working out. It's not like they were in full pads or uniforms or anything, but they were basically doing 7-on-7 style drills. And pretty much the whole team was there, offensive and defensive players, because they thought they were going to have to play against the Steelers, and they're trying to stay in shape. And we talked with Jeff Schwartz about that a little bit. But he told me that I couldn't say anything because he didn't want to be blamed by his classmates for the Titans getting caught.
I've told you before, he is the future president of Outkick.com.
Yeah, maybe so. That was a pretty smart move by him to get me to agree. So family over stories. Dub, how ridiculous is that? That my own son comes home with the biggest scoop of the last week in the NFL. He's like the Adam Schefter of the NFL. And there were, by the way, a lot of kids at his school who knew about it. But he came home and told me, but he said I couldn't say anything about it.
How much would Glazer or one of these guys paid for that information?
Or for him to just pulled out and gotten a video, right? So that there was actually video evidence of the workout. It is pretty funny to think about. And so I had to sit on it. I thought that news would break a lot faster than it did, just based on the number of people that were aware the workout was going on. And I also think, and we'll talk with Dr. Chow about this, are people really surprised that if an NFL team doesn't have access to its facility, that those guys who are professionals, they're going to try to find a way to work out and be in shape and work out together, even to try to keep their chemistry up together? Like, that doesn't surprise me at all. I was kind of surprised by the amount of people who were like, oh, this is totally unacceptable. I understand that you don't want it to happen, but that in general is something that I would have anticipated from the moment that you heard the facility was closed. All right, I teased this a while ago. Let's get to it. I appreciate all of you who have been doing 5-star podcast reviews for us. Danny G, are we still getting a lot of the 5-star podcast reviews?
Still a lot of them.
All right, so what we have shifted to is we now have, because by the way, we have sold out of every one of my books that exist anywhere. The publisher can't get more published. Like, so we have had to shift to now you get a special. You can't buy this anywhere. I don't think it's up on the site. You get a special five-star Outkick T-shirt.
Yeah.
Acknowledging your 5-star review. You get that sent in.
Yeah, I told our T-shirt guy to make it like the 5 stars in a row to look exactly like the podcast reviews.
Yeah.
And it says 5-star club. So, yeah, you could only get this by writing one of these and then winning on the air.
Yeah, and I'm close to saying, hey, let's just open this up. We'll start. Maybe that's what I'll do for Christmas. Is I'll be like, look, 5-star reviews. We're just giving these shirts out like crazy because we're having a good year at Outkick. Then I'll start giving them out like crazy. But until then, you have to go give a 5-star review, and Danny G has to select your 5-star review. Funny, smart, witty, original. Whatever catches Danny G's eyes, and I think we have a few of the 5-star reviews that you've selected.
Yeah, and before I get to the few winners, can I read one that's just kind of cringy because we have a new replacement for Audio Guy, and you know who it is? Podcast Ad Guy. I've seen so many of these reviews, Clay, that say, can you please control the ads on the podcast?
People in the reviews are complaining about the podcast ads?
Yeah, let me read this one. It's from Matt Masters. He says, amazing show, but cringy podcast ads. This show is a window into sanity living in California, a welcomed reprieve from life in Looney Land. But Clay, your ads that play during the podcast do not pertain to your demographic at all. I know you probably don't pick the ads yourself for the podcast, but whoever does needs to do their job better. I'm not going to listen to a conspiracy theorist who thinks the white man's keeping him down. Don't care about the validity of it. I'm not interested. And I'm not going to listen to a podcast where the hosts try to justify women serial killers' actions. Come on, man.
I don't have any idea. So this is interesting. Like the podcast, we were up 360% this September over last September, right? Millions of you are downloading our podcast every single month, right? I mean, it is one of the most popular sports podcasts. It's one of certainly when it's a radio show that then also becomes a podcast, right? So a lot of you listen live on 300 plus stations, all 50 states, satellite radio, all that. I appreciate everybody listening live. You stream it however you're listening to me right now. Some of you are listening on your Alexa devices to start your morning. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. Hope I didn't screw up your Alexa. But there are a ton of people who are downloading the podcast, right? And so every now and then I get questions, especially during the political calendar season. People have said, oh, you know, like I'm a Republican and I hate hearing Democratic ads, or I'm a Democrat and I hate hearing Republican ads, or I'm an independent and I don't want to hear any ads. I don't control anything to do with the ads on the podcast. But what I have said is whoever pays the most money gets to be on my podcast. I'm a capitalist. So if like back in the day when Mike Bloomberg was running for president, he was spending money like a drunken sailor, I'm happy to take some of that dude's money. And if the Trump campaign wants to spend money to reach you guys, I'll take it. If the Biden campaign wants to spend money to reach you guys, I'll take it. I would like for you to like the ads, but I would rather make money on them than I would you like the ads, all right? So I have nothing to do with it. All I said is sell them to the highest bidder for the most money you possibly can. That's my only perspective on podcast advertising.
Yeah, iHeart controls those ads and promos. Once in a while, we'll have commercials in there that are from you, voiced by you with Outkick codes.
Yeah.
Now, besides supporting the show by signing up to be a VIP, also use those Outkick codes, please.
Okay, so that was
Yes.
Audio Guy, by the way, can't complain now.
No, with your brand new mixer, you have sounded really good on the air. Knock on fake wood here.
Yeah, we haven't had, again, knock on fake wood, we haven't had any major tech issues with the show for a long time. And now even with my Periscope and Facebook show, the show that I do live in the afternoon with my new home studio, we evidently have immaculate sound. I used to get complaints all the time from Audio Guy about our sound issues. Now I am told that Audio Guy is just in heaven because my voice is just perfectly mellifluous because he can take his pants off and lean back on and close his eyes with his big, massive headphones on, and everything will be great.
And rub against the woofer. All right,
rub against the woofer. Indeed.
Here's in the history of Outkick, our very first 5-Star Club T-shirt winner. His name is Andrew. His title is "My Dad Was Right Once Again." 5 stars. Clay, I love the show and appreciate your optimistic outlook on sports and life. All the fearmongers disgust me so much that I just don't need that kind of negativity in my life. A month ago, my dad recommended that I give your show a download, as it is not on any local radio stations in my market yet, and I'm now hooked. I don't know who to thank more, you or my dad, but since you're the one working hard every day, thank you for helping me feel better about life each day after listening to your program. Keep pressing the issues and fighting the good fight for sports.
Well, I appreciate that, and thanks to your dad for having great taste. And honestly, this is why our show has grown so much. It's not like there's some multi-million-dollar advertising campaign of people out there talking about Outkick all the time. It's word of mouth. It's people saying, hey, have you heard this guy Clay Travis? You're going to like his show. You should download the podcast. And that's why we've grown. So I appreciate you. Word of mouth is the most valuable advertising because you trust the opinions of people around you. And that's gratifying when I hear that your dad is telling you, hey, you like the program, or your mom or your buddy or whoever it is. Thanks, because that's how we're growing.
All right, and our next T-shirt winner here from Garrett Kroon, 5-star review. His title is, Turns Out This Is a Mental Health Show. Clay, I'm a therapist, a real one. Many of those with whom I meet are experiencing high levels of anxiety and depression due in large part to the fearmongers in the media. I'm now therapeutically recommending people listen to Outkick to ease their anxieties and get back to some normalcy. Clay Travis, 2020's most potent antidepressant.
I think anything people can do to that's why we didn't really skip any shows from March when there wasn't sports going on to all the way to now. I think I missed like 3 or 4 days at some point, hardly any days at all, because I did think people were super stressed during the coronavirus, and I think people are still super stressed. And I think starting off your morning with a voice that you're used to is at least something that I can do to help make the day a little bit less overwhelming in what has been a truly overwhelming year.
Yep, we were in here every day with our hand sanitizer. All right, and the third T-shirt winner for this week, and this is something I'm not going to do a lot, but I love the way that this listener wrote this, although I'm going to say in advance I'm going to make an adjustment to his shirt, and I'll explain here. Tora23, 4 stars, but listen to what he wrote. I believe Clay is an egomaniac, but not in a negative way. He just believes what he says is the truth. I gave him 4 because he does challenge my thinking, even though I don't agree all the time. I don't like when people champion what I say. We need opposing views in our country. They keep us humble. Clay lets me into his home and his mind, so I know how he truly lives. Keep doing your thing. Oh, and hiring Jason Whitlock was genius.
I do think that Jason Whitlock's hire was genius. I agree with that.
Now, I am going to give him a T-shirt, but I'm going to take a black marker and I'm going to cross out one of the stars on his shirt.
No, we'll just send him a 5-star review. It's way too complicated because then we have to send the T-shirt to you and then you have to ship it somewhere else.
I'm just being sarcastic.
I don't even know what sarcasm is nowadays.
Tora23 with the 4 stars there.
All right, I appreciate that, and I appreciate all of you. Go give us a 5-star review or a funny 4-star review, I guess, and Danny G will read them. There are lots of them, right? So if we didn't read your 5-star review on the air, it doesn't mean we didn't enjoy it. Danny G, you're reading. How many of these are up now? Thousands of them now,
Tons.
Right?
I spent a good hour just reading through the most recent batch.
Yeah, I know that we're up. I'm going to look right now because I was actually curious about that. There are thousands and thousands of these reviews up there now. So go give us a 5-star. I appreciate you. Thank you for making this show such a rapid growth rate of late, or thanks for helping us have such a rapid growth rate of late. We're 5 years in. So, but it's gratifying to see all of the results come to fruition here. Okay, when we come back, we're going to be joined by Dr. David Chow. We'll discuss all of this COVID positivity. What does it mean? We'll discuss the picture that went viral of Stephon Gilmore talking to Patrick Mahomes, whether or not that's anything to be concerned about. And Dr. Chow has an announcement that he wants to make. It should be interesting to see. All of that headed your direction. But first, I want to say, go sign up for the Outkick VIP right now. I appreciate all of you supporting us so much. Best thing you can do to support Outkick if you love what we're doing here is become a VIP, as thousands of you are doing. I appreciate you. Want to continue to grow that. Go sign up for Outkick VIP today. Outkick.com is the website. All right. When we come back, Dr. David Chow will join us. This is Outkick on Fox Sports Radio.